Welcome to Inside Louisiana News. I'm Ted Baldwin. Our guest today is Major General Hunt Downer. Welcome. Glad you're with us.
Thank you, Ted.
He's former Speaker of the Louisiana House of Representatives, and he's running for Congress in the 3rd District. And you are from?
Houma, Louisiana, Terrebonne Parish,
Uh-huh.
South Louisiana, heart of Cajun country.
What's good about that area?
Everything. It's a great way of life. Wouldn't trade it for anything.
You are now entering into a race for Congress in the 3rd District. Why are you doing that?
I'm recently retired as a Major General, United States Army, Louisiana National Guard. In fact, April 30th, I retired. Came back, and between the oil spill, the actions of the current administration, the White House, the President with the moratorium, the things they were doing, the legislation, Obamacare and all, and the deficit, I realized that I have a 3.5-year-old granddaughter, starting to enjoy, and I looked at her and I said, you know, the American dream, the way of life that we knew, you and I, as we were growing up, it's under attack. She won't have an opportunity at the rate we're going to experience the American dream. So here I am. I'm willing to take the fight that I've been through. I'm gonna take it to Washington to try and bring our country back to our basic core principles, honor the Constitution, give everyone an opportunity to experience the American dream, to do business incentives instead of taxes, control the growth of government, quit the deficit spending. You know, here in Louisiana, we have a balanced budget amendment. What's so wrong with having that? We don't have a deficit. You can't spend. You got to cut the budget to meet it. And in my tenure as Speaker of the House, we took a challenge. Someone said, how would you describe yourself? I said, well, I'm a fiscally conservative patriot. And that pretty much covers it. You know, while I was Speaker, we had money coming in. We had a surplus at one time. Well, I created, it was my legislation, the Rainy Day Trust Fund. Now, I got to tell you, it's not easy to try and save money in a trust fund for future days. But guess what's just happened this last fiscal year, this last legislative session? They were using some of that rainy day money, trust fund dollars that had accumulated because of a budget shortfall. Got to look to the future. I took the tobacco settlement money, and you recall that when we got that windfall from the tobacco settlement, and we put it in a trust fund. I put it in the trust fund. I fought for it, the Millennium Trust Fund. We set aside money for TOPS. We set aside money for education, and we set aside money for health care, because tobacco is causing a lot of our health problems with cancer and lung cancer and all of that. You got to think out of the box. You got to think to the future. And then, as I got into this oil spill, our very coast is under attack, as if we didn't have enough problems with coastal erosion. Now we got oil on the beaches. Then the bureaucracy. The president issues a moratorium. I say that's a presidential disaster. Puts a moratorium on us, shuts down the oil and gas industry, going to collapse 100,000 jobs it's estimated at. Just recently, today I heard that, 60 to 100,000 jobs. I thought we were supposed to stimulate the economy, encourage economic growth, encourage businesses. Instead, we're going to shut them down. Yet we're drilling 2 relief wells right next to the one that blew out. Well, if they can come up with the safety criteria and the engineering to drill a relief well, what happened to the other 33 wells that were being drilled? And now we're finding out and talking with the oil and gas folks, in the 500 feet or less depth water, that they slowed up the permitting process, revoked the permit, so we've shut down basically the entire Gulf of Mexico from drilling. And at the same time, the president, this is to me the hypocrisy of some of this, issues, and being in the military, we know what's called the National Strategic Policy. It's the national strategy that the White House issued in May of this year. And it says it's critical to our national defense that we reduce our dependence on foreign oil. Well, how do you do that? He talked about alternate energy sources and encouraging more domestic production. Well, he did that, but now he shut it off. And when you shut off domestic production, guess where you got to go? Foreign. And I can tell you, we buying oil from countries, you give them half a chance, they'd be over here and kill us in a heartbeat. Why are we depending on those who hate us? And we're sending American dollars over there. And guess how they get that oil here? Comes in big ships. You let one of them ships be like the Valdez, and we got problems. So we're increasing our exposure to more oil. Then the bureaucracy. We want to build sand berms along our barrier islands, and in some cases put sand berms where we used to have an island.
What's a berm?
A little sand island to keep the oil and the water.
Just a little sand levee?
Sand levees.
Okay, very good.
Corps of Engineers shuts us down. We got to study the environmental impact. This ain't rocket science. Give me a choice. Oil on my beach or sand? Give me sand any day. Oil in my marsh or sand? Give me sand any day. You know, I'm just so tired of that. We need to take charge, go up there and say, I really think at times they're after us. They want to penalize us. They want to kick us while we're down instead of let us help ourselves. I say this. Then they create the $20 billion fund from BP. We're not going to be bought in South Louisiana. We're not going to be bought. Mr. President, let our people go back to work. Mr. President, lift the moratorium. Let our people go back to work. We go to court. The judge sides with those folks who brought that lawsuit.
Go to court on regarding the moratorium.
Regarding the moratorium. They issue a stay order on the moratorium. The government appeals it. I believe, as I'm sitting here today, the president has reissued another moratorium. Give me a break.
Isn't it that it's been gone they've gone another route around?
Yes.
But they've tried something different.
Something different.
But it was the same effect.
Same effect, yeah. Shut us down.
So they're not just reissuing the same order.
And that alone, in my humble opinion, is a way of trampling on the Constitution and trampling on the courts. There is a reason we have the executive branch of government, the legislative branch of government, and the judicial branch of government. This guy's trying to control all of them. The current administration, the president of the White House is the executive branch. He appoints all the cabinet secretaries. His party and he control the House and the Senate. And now, by going around, he's avoiding the third branch of government, the judicial, which is the check and balance. That causes me great concern. I'm a states' rights person. That's why we have those amendments in the Constitution. And they are suing Arizona over immigration.
States' rights has long been associated with negative connotations. What are the positive aspects of the states' rights?
Get the federal government out of our business. Number one, Obamacare. We don't need Obamacare if they honored our states' rights. Let us regulate our health care. Let us determine that. Let those major health insurance companies right across state lines so that you can get better rates. I mean, it's just the arrogance and the attitude. We're Big Brother and we know what's best for you. And that's wrong. And again, look what happened all within the last 2 weeks. Now the federal government has sued Arizona over the immigration law. Arizona has. Right before them suing it, a little town in Texas takes bullets from across the border, 7 rounds, into their city hall. I was raised at a time, and my history says when someone fires bullets across the border, that's war. And here we're going to say, oh, well, it was an accident. No, give me a break. There are people out there who want to kill us. There are people out here who don't care about us and our way of life. We got to fight to protect it.